Have you ever looked at a math equation and felt like it was just a bunch of symbols on a page? Well, today we're going to talk about how to completely change that relationship. We're going to explore how you can take math off the page and put it right into your own hands. We're talking about literally building an idea.
So let me just ask you this. How do you take something as simple as every day as a sheet of paper and turn it into a deep, genuine understanding of geometry? I know it sounds a little bit like a magic trick, right? But stick with me because the answer is way more hands-on than you'd think.
You know, that whole journey from a flat piece of paper to this world of mathematical insight, it really boils down to three simple, powerful actions. These three words are going to be our guide for this entire explainer. Create, demonstrate, and collect.
Okay, let's jump right into that first one, the power of creation. The whole idea here is that the act of making something teaches you in a way that just reading about it, well, it can't even come close.
Think about it. It starts so simply. You grab a blank sheet of paper, you draw some lines, you cut along the edges, you fold, and then you glue it all together. And through that simple physical process, something amazing happens. A complex mathematical object, a polyhedron, starts to literally take shape right there in your hands.
And what's so cool about this is just how accessible it is. You don't need some high-tech, fancy lab. We're talking about everyday stuff. A piece of cardboard can become a perfect solid. A bit of string can trace out a complex curve. Some wire can reveal the secrets of symmetry. And a humble sheet of paper can be folded into these incredible surfaces. It's all about seeing the math that's hiding in the world all around us.
And this is where the big shift in your mindset happens. When you build the object yourself, you're not just passively soaking up information. You become an active participant. You start thinking about why the edges meet up, why the faces align the way they do. You're not just learning geometry anymore, you're actually creating it.
So, you've created this amazing thing for yourself. What's next? Well, that brings us to our second power, demonstration. This is where that little bit of magic you made for yourself suddenly becomes a key that can unlock understanding for a whole lot of other people.
This is all about the aha moment. I mean, think about how much mental energy it takes to try and visualize a 3D object just from a 2D drawing in a book. It's exhausting. But a physical model, it just bypasses all that. A concept that might take pages and pages of text to explain becomes instantly clear the moment you hold it. The abstract becomes real, and what once took this huge leap of imagination, it just becomes obvious.
And this just lays out the difference perfectly. On one path, you've got the abstract stuff. Pages of text, complex symbols that you have to decode in your head. But on the other path, you have the physical model. You can turn it over, you can look at it from every angle, you can feel its structure. The understanding is immediate. It's intuitive.
And guess what? There's a scientific reason this works so well. Our brains are deeply connected to our senses. We might remember a tiny bit of what we only see, but that number jumps way up for something we can actually touch. And just look at that biggest slice. Our memory is most powerful for the things we've built ourselves. That hands-on experience forges a connection in our brain that's just incredibly strong.
This brings us to our third and maybe the biggest power of all, collection. The key point here is that you don't just make one model and stop. Oh no, that's just the beginning. This is where a whole universe of ideas starts to connect, creating something way bigger and more profound. You're not just making a model, you're building a world.
It all starts with one. Maybe it's a simple cube. That one model perfectly captures one single focused idea. It's the first piece of your puzzle.
But then one model becomes two, and then suddenly you have 10. And as your shelf starts to fill up, you begin to see something new. That cube and that octahedron you built, they're not just cool shapes anymore. You realize they're duals of each other. The number of faces on one matches the number of corners on the other. You're not just looking at single ideas anymore, you're physically seeing the deep relationships that connect them all.
What you're building really is your own personal mathematical museum. It's a physical library of ideas that you've built yourself. Every object is an exhibit, a tangible piece of knowledge you can come back to over and over again.
And the process of building this museum does more than just teach you math. For sure, it builds patience and skill. But more importantly, it makes you curious. Each new model makes you ask new questions. Like, why are there only 5 of these platonic solids? Or what happens if I chop the corners off of this one? It literally trains your brain to hunt for patterns and connect ideas, revealing those hidden relationships in any complex system you look at.
So, let's bring it all together. Let's take these 3 powerful ideas, create,
demonstrate, and collect, and bring them full circle to see the really profound insight that this whole journey gives us. This table just lays it all out so perfectly. Look at the progression here. It all starts with the act of creation, which gives you a deep, personal understanding. Then, through demonstration, that personal insight becomes a shared truth. And finally, through collection, all those individual truths get woven together into a rich, connected understanding of the world. It's just this incredible cycle of learning and discovery. And ultimately, when these three powers combine, the result is a total transformation. Mathematics is no longer just a series of abstract symbols on a page. It becomes something real, something you can build with your own hands, see with your own eyes, and truly, deeply own.